morning every weekday and join CradleRadio on CradleRadio.
This is CradleRadio.
This is CradleRadio.
This is CradleRadio.
This is CradleRadio.
Wake up in the morning every weekday and join CradleRadio on CradleRadio. Wake up in the morning every weekday and join CradleRadio on CradleRadio.
And this is when I say good morning to you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you're on the right side today. I'm grateful for essence of being opportune to be here. I love that aspect of it, especially when you can come around and do what you have to do in a quick nick of time. I love it. I love it. Love it. Everyone knows why I'm not hearing CradleRadio from the other side now. Yeah, hopefully everything is 100. Hopefully everything is 100. Well, one of those days when you just you kind of just want to just be by yourself, right? Especially with the weather being the way it is, the weather being how it is. And when you look at it from that angle, you just want to be grateful. I am grateful. Grateful for each and every moment. I'm grateful for each and every time. I'm always grateful. My name is CradleRadio, and this is Canada. When you have the opportunity of doing what you do best, all you got to do is just be thankful. I'm always thankful for everything. Good morning on the side of CradleRadio, on the flip side of that medium in which we are opportune to propagate and to distribute and to communicate. That's the best way to go about it. I love that aspect in the morning when you can look into somebody's eyes and tell them, why don't you do it this way? Well, This is Canada is a flagship coming from CradleRadio that showcases happenings around Canada. And if it happens to be something that's happening in your part of the world. It's also a development that sometimes might need to be talked about, sometimes might need to be applauded, either ways. The main concern and the main directive or the main direction, beg your pardon, is to kind of have a way where we can have a balance, a sort of balance, hopefully help the people in the place of authority, having to help them sort out certain things. You might have a third ear that might just be listening and might just want to. Oh, I didn't even know I wasn't even here. Okay, yeah, right, we're here. We might have a third ear that's listening, that's about suggesting things that might be helpful. So we're not here in the blaming game. We're not here to chastise nobody. We're not here to witch hunt nobody. We're here to probably and hopefully get my Canada to where it's meant to be in the League of Nations, as I like to call it. My name is Akin Lawyer, and Cradle Radio is a radio station that allows you to enjoy the best of talk and music and even, news elements, all encompassing to one that allows you to be able to feel the essence of Radio Land. Radio TV now is interwoven, so sometimes I'm asking myself, what am I? Am I a radio host or a TV host? Well, apparently, I've been doing that for over 30 years in both areas, TV, radio. So, I'm blessed. And I'll call what I do a full-time broadcast element, if you know what I mean. Good morning, people. Now, yesterday, we're about talking about something that is happening around Canada. Now, if it is happening in your part of the world, and like I know, Cradle Radio is everywhere, so wherever you're listening to me right now, we're live streaming on Facebook, we're live streaming on YouTube. We got another good news as well today. You see, for every time that we have a show, if you perhaps didn't catch up with the show, we have the possibility and the opportunity to listen to it on Spotify now. I'll flag that on screen so you can see it. That link over there, you're going to see it. We're going to post it on our social media channels as well. With that link, you can listen to us on Spotify. You can listen to the audio version or the video version, either ones that you prefer. So we're on Spotify. We're on, what else? We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're broadcasting live from the Cradle Studios and Cradle Radio. We are on Cradle Radio. That's the origin of everything. I'm glad, I'm happy, and I'm glad and in fulfillment with what was promised me by my Creator, and also to the team as well. All right, let's get to the nitty-gritty of today without spending much time. Yesterday, we wanted to talk about something that is really, really concerning now, and I'll tell you why it's concerning. I was, back in the day, high school days, I was a science student. This process that I'm in right now is considered by many as an art, the arts field. And some people would say that, oh, you're an art student. I don't know. I'm a world student. That's the way I want to put it. I like that aspect of it. So, in a nutshell, I was having a tete-a-tete with a wifey the other day, and she calls my attention to some things that, in my mind, I'm saying, this is outrageous, right? I'm saying some conspiracy stuff and all that. And she said, no, we have cloned beef. I said, no. What do you mean clone beef? Because I saw something some couple of years ago about, what was that? Some people not only cloning, well, it was a kind of clone, but he was gory anyway, so I'm not going to talk about that now. But This people were selling burgers with a cannibalistic kind of beef, if you know what I mean, human beef. Now, don't ask me that question whether or not, you see so many things online. If you go online, you're going to see it. You definitely will see it. So that was a nightmarish exposure for me. So when everybody talks about beef and this and that, and this might probably be a good thing for vegetarians, but incidentally, I ain't no vegetarian. Incidentally, I'm not one of those. Hey, Sukiyaki, what's going on in the UK, brother? I see you, man. Signs, right? All right. Hey, Talashi, how you doing, darling? Wherever you are in the part of the world this morning. All right. So, after that exposure to that video, I'm not like, should I go vegetarian? But I tell you something, man. It's rare for an Ogbomoso boy to go vegetarian, you know. You got suya, you got all this stuff, you got kilishi, you got, come on. No, I ain't going vegetarian. No, that ain't gonna happen. So, when she told me this, in my mind, I'm saying, no, it's not possible. Then I dug deeper, and I realized there just might be clone meat in Canada. Is that the future, or a good fight, or a food fight, as the title says? Imagine biting into a juicy steak. You know, the sirloin. You know, tender, flavorful, and completely cloned. Cloned, my people. Cloned. That's right. Not farm raised. Not grass-fed, but scientifically copied. That's scary. That's really scary. It was copied. It was cloned. It was copied. Scientifically. Clone meat, it's no longer the stuff of science fiction, people. It's not. This is not science fiction at play. You might just go to your favorite spot where you pick up beef and you're buying clone meats. Clone meat. And now it's making its way onto Canada's dinner plates. If it's making its way to other countries, because I got people from different parts of the world, if it's making its way to different places, good morning, Suki, man, good morning. I know it's afternoon in the UK. Good afternoon to you in the UK. I like to put it that way, but good morning to me. It's a snowy day. It's visibility is low. I should be doing some kind of weather forecast. I used to do that back in the day, back in Radio Lagos at FM. I used to do weather, but it was sponsored though. If somebody wants to sponsor weather, we'll do that on Cradle Radio as well. No. So, look at Sukiyaki. I told you about Sukiyaki, and I've said so many things about him, you know, from time to time. This is the CEO of Planted Works over in the UK. And this is a man, when you talk about voices everywhere, you gotta watch out for that on TikTok. It happens on Saturday mornings. Saturday, it's like 10 a.m. UK time, if I'm right. It's a little early for me, but I wake up sometime. I want to hear what he's saying. That's my brother from a long time. You know, that's a man you should go ahead and just be in tune with, connect with. You love his shows on TikTok as well. So, in my mind, I'm thinking it's no longer the stuff of science fiction. And now it's making its way into Canada's dinner plate. So whenever you go into those fancy or the regular restaurant of yours, you might just be eating copied meat. The question is, are Canadians ready for it? I put that to personalize this for this as Canada. But if you're in another part of the world, is the world ready for this? Is the world ready for this? Now, Health Canada and the Canadian Food Inspection Agency have started reviewing data on cloned animals and lab-grown proteins. Man, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. As global biotech firms push to commercialize what they call the future of sustainable food. Now this is what I don't get. Has there been a form of research that shows that we are having lesser flock if we do it diligently like it's done or like it was done even back in the day? Do we have a way of even financing or making agricultural ventures? Do we have a way of making it attractive? Do we have enough science that makes it even more attractive for the younger ones, the ones coming behind us? Because some kids don't even know how that juicy steak of theirs get on their plate. Ignorance and naivety, you want to call that? Because I remember as a kid, I used to go to the abattoir with my mom's, right? And sometimes my dad takes me there as well. So I could see what will be in the pot. But in this day and age where everything is wrapped, well, thankfully I go to a farm to get my beef, right? I go to the farm to get my beef, So it says, now let's look at what Suki's saying. He said, food cloning, bro, it's on. Once upon a time in London, what was purported to be beef meat, that's cow, was found to be camel meat for ages. Well, at least that's something that's a living thing, right? All right. Voices Everywhere is 10:30 UK time, 10:30 in the morning UK time. I do that for him, so that, we'll be on the same page. So, when you're looking at certain things that's happening in our society now, you just want to look at yourself and say, oh my God, here we go again. Now, as a curious science student, I was meant to understand that there's a possibility of bending time. We could bend time so we could get to places faster. That's physics. That's not physics 101, that's advanced physics. Right. So, it says there's a possibility of it. If there's a possibility of it, it can happen. We as humans, we as business owners, we as captains of industries, we're not concerned about taking science futuristically into uncharted territory that could enhance our believability about the world around us. But what we've been turned into is a group of people that likes to play God. You want to create your own beef so that we don't affect those ones in the wild no more. It is a crazy world we're living in. It is a crazy world we're living in. I just don't know. It sounds morbid, right? Because out of all the things in the world, we want to clone beef. Imagine me eating suya now. I'm eating clone suya. Well, suya is a particular delicacy that's attributed to Western Africa and some northern part of Africa as well. It's like grilled beef in a special way. You could go search it up online. You find it. So imagine you having your kilishi with clone beef. Kilishi is another. It's like a jerky. That's a jerky actually. So you going around and you go like, clone beef. Is that even real? Clone beef. We want to sustain the world, right? I'll tell you something that you might not like to hear this morning. It will get to a point in this world that majority of the people around the world will be limited to eating this stuff. I don't want to put a bad name to it. I'll just say this stuff, because there are words in my mouth that just is heaving me to the point where I just want to just speak some profanity in here, man, but I'm just trying to just curtail myself and trying to just be normal, at least for once. But if you have a situation where everything that we're thinking about is about duplicating what has been in existence before we came into the world, ours is about duplicating things. I understand people duplicate fashion apparels. I understand people duplicate designs. That's, it's understandable. But trying to duplicate a God-given consumption, and then we talk about diseases, right? We talk about diseases. This is Cradle Radio, people. All right, to be a part of this, all you have to do is join our social media handles. And I did say earlier on, the beautiful thing about it is that shows that you might have missed on Cradle Radio's This is Canada, it's now on Spotify, okay? So go on Spotify. I'll flip this with you, so you can see this. So if you go on Spotify, the link will be posted on most of our social media handles. If you click on those links, you will be directed to how you can listen to some of the shows that's already uploaded in there. So you won't be missing anything if you're into stuff like that, on the go kind of. All right. So, but you see, the thing about it is that critics say this could be the next genetically modified food fight. Critics. And who are those critics? And I'm not taking a side to them, I'm just taking things as it relates to my preference. I'm curious enough to want to know. Cloning isn't new, all right? Don't get me wrong, it's not a new thing. Scientists have been replicating animals since Dolly the sheep in 1996. You remember Dolly the sheep? Okay, maybe you were not into stuff like that in science. It sounded like science fiction then. Dolly the sheep in 1996. But today, the goal isn't curiosity, all right? The goal isn't curiosity. The goal isn't curiosity. It's consumption. You could be curious enough to wanting to know, is it possible to have a clone? You never know. But in reality, you realize that, it is possible right now. Companies are cloning cattle. Companies are cloning pigs and chickens to produce meat with identical genetics, promising fewer diseases, consistent quality, and reduced emissions. And that's what he says. And that's what he says. Reduce emissions. Reduce emissions. Emissions, people. Consistent quality. Consistent quality. Does that mean that clone beef is going to be cheaper than the ones that are already buy on a daily? Or are you trying to phase out? Because we as a society going to get to a point where what we'll be having to do is, even if you go hunting for beef, like some do, right? Some people go hunting. It might be outlawed at the rate at which we're going. It might be outlawed at the rate at which we're going. So hunters can carry their rifle to go hunt no more. People will go to cottages to go hunt, hunt an animal, which is a recreation for some people. Might probably not be having to do that no more. Now mark it down. In 50 years from now, if you're watching this, it will be said that there was a man called Akinloye. We talked about this when people were not listening. When they were not listening, people. Promising fewer diseases. So it's not like the clones would eliminate diseases that people get from consumption of some meat. It's not eliminating it. My point is, what's the cost implication of cloning a cattle? Is it cheaper than raising a cattle? And what about farmers whose livelihood is predominantly on farming for livestock? It's just a question, people. It might sound rhetorical, it might sound different in a way, but it's still a question. I'm curious enough to want to know. Promising fewer diseases. Fewer. Not eliminating diseases. And what about the diseases that the human body will probably erupt with an introduction of a copy of its sustainable, edible, and I'm not saying the clones ain't edible, I'm never gonna try it, so let's mark it down that way. I'm not taking sides, I'm just telling you how it is. Sustainable consumption of ours, naturally sustainable food. It is a crazy world we're living in, people. It is a crazy world we're living in. Oh, definitely. Now, if you see all those infos and messages coming in, those are people that are following us on Facebook or even on YouTube as well. So if you're a follower, if you subscribe to us on YouTube, you can, lay your comments in there, and this is what we do. And if you have informations for us that might probably help us in growing, you could send those into info@CradleRadio.com. If you send those messages in, we'll be able to have a rapport and a talk that might just lead to something great. People might just lead to something great. We are Cradle Radio, #CradleRadio this morning, and you ain't gonna miss nothing, okay? And those are the ways in which you can connect with us. Clone meats in Canada, the future or food fights. That's what we're talking about this morning on This Is Canada. Clone meat, it might just be available in your own spot too, in your own place. So whenever you're having that food and you're saying, oh, I want that burger, you probably ask, is this clone or not? And that's where we spend our time as regards our science research. Of all the things in the world, of all the things that could sustain human, with the body that we have, which evolution has shown that has been sustained for thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years, if not millions of years. So we're introducing a copy of what sustained us to this very moment. And I want to know. I'm just curious enough to wanting to know. Oh my God. Oh my God. We're playing genetic roulette with a Futan. Generic roulette. So says one bioethicist. Just because we can clone meat doesn't mean we should. And that's not gonna be the only thing. You put chemicals together, you put all the substances together to have a copy of what's obtainable, a copy of what everybody already knows is good for the body, that sustains the body, a rich source of protein. But no, we're playing genetic roulette. Well, on the flip side, advocates call it a climate hero. What do you mean a climate hero? They call it a climate hero. Clone and lab-grown meat will drastically cut livestock methane emissions. And I've had about enough of this emission stuff, right? I've had about enough of it. The same people that spend thousands and millions and billions of dollars pushing about emission, the same set of people are financing wars across the world that might just turn nuclear anytime soon. We're not thinking about emission when you're building your nuclear weapons, do you? No, we're not thinking about emission. It's selective reasoning, isn't it? Selective reasoning. Those emissions that you're talking about, have you ever thought about the fact that those emissions, those livestock emissions might just be what plants need? And I didn't go far in science not to know that common sense states that plants feed off of carbon dioxide and they emit oxygen for us, and we consume oxygen and we push out back something that they need as well. It's just 101 in any general knowledge. Who knows? Who knows?
Wake up in the morning every weekday and join Akinloye on Cradle Radio.
I'm not trying to take sides. A cloned and lab-grown meat will drastically cut livestock methane emissions, so says advocates. Water use, deforestation. Deforestation? Oh God! Have you seen Lord of the Rings? I mean, I know that's a fiction, but out of fiction comes some kind of sense in a way. Deforestation. We're not talking deforestation when we're using so many plants, so many trees. We're deforesting our environment to have furnitures in our homes. Selective reasoning. We're selective in our reasoning. So you want to tell me that the use of having a lot of cattle or having livestock leads to deforestation? Because obviously, in quote, the animals cause deforestation. In a world struggling to feed billions, it's an innovation many say we can't afford to ignore. Man, I better start having a backup, man. This world will just turn into something else. Excuse me. I better start having a backup. It's turning into something else. But who decides what's safe to serve? Health Canada has yet to approve cloned meat for human consumption, meaning for now, Canadians won't find it legally at the butcher's counter. Butcher's counter. Still, global trends suggest it's only a matter of time. The U.S., the Wild Wild West, Singapore and Israel are already moving towards regulatory green lights for lab and cloned meat products. I did say yesterday that while growing up, I used to have this feel of when I'm having oranges, for instance. You squeeze them oranges, and then you probably accidentally chew on or swallow a seed. And you go like, It's been a long time that I've seen oranges with seeds. Even grapes don't have some. A lot of grapes don't have seeds no more. You put a grape in your refrigerator, and it stays there for like a month, and it's not getting rotten. Those fruits should not have a shelf life, because they're living things. Once it's plucked off its stem, the shelf life is limited as at that process, as at that time period. As at that time period, it is limited. It becomes limited. So that's what I don't get. That's what I don't know. That's what I want to find out. I'm curious enough to wanting to know. Clone meats. People smoking too many All right, I'll beep that out because of the fact that we're in so many places. Clone meat in Canada. The future or a food fight. Somebody would probably just say, you know what? It might just be helping us out. It might just be sustainable. We're playing Russian roulette with life. We're going into uncharted territories in places that we've not been before. And we're going there in a zombie-ish way. When people say it causes deforestation, cattle don't eat trees. It's humans that cut down those trees. We humans cut down those trees. I watched a documentary the other time about a supply chain of a huge fashion outlet or fashion company. Oh, I beg your pardon, furniture company. No, furniture company. A huge furniture. You know the furniture company I'm talking about. I ain't gonna say nothing, but you know the one I'm talking about. They bought large expanse of land in Romania. They've caused deforestation in Eastern Europe. And maybe possibly in Africa as well, because at least Romania had data to back it up, and they have things to show for it. And what about places where there are no data to show or to back it up? This is one of the most profitable, well, if not the biggest in the world right now. This company is there, but we're not pointing fingers as to these companies being the cause of deforestation in major parts of the world. We're not, but we're saying cattles. You know, when I knew the world is turning into shits, all right, this is matured radio, all right, so I would express it in the best way that I can express it. When I knew the world is turning to shit is when we allow people who smoke too much lala to make decisions for us. And I'm not saying this out of the top of my head. This is the reality. We have people who just shouldn't even be in a place of decision making, and we put them there. We're sitting down, we're looking at each other, we're going like, yeah, it's juicy. I bet you today, if you open up a shop, a burger joint, and you tell people it's clone meat, they're gonna put this beautiful advertorial. Marketing seems to be one of our strongest suits as humans. We know how to market. We know how to convince people to do the otherwise. You're gonna see all them Gen Zs, they're gonna be running there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, they don't sound like that, you know. Because most of these kids don't even know what a farm looks like. They don't even know what the farm looks like. And I don't blame them. Back in the day, kids went on excursions to farms to see the process of what they consume. Some kids might say, it did scar me, but a lot of kids actually learn from that. You learn from it. But we're not those ones no more, because what we do is put tablets in the front of our kids, allowing them to watch so many things online and not allowing them to experience what real life is all about. So most of these kids can say, I bet you in the next 1-2 years, you will find a kid that will say, oh, I prefer Clone Mate. It's much juicier. It's much juicier. It's a crazy world we're living in, people. It's a crazy world. Oh my God. So, is clone meat the key to finding the future? Or biological experiments on our plates? An experiment that's leading into uncharted territories. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Lord, if people saying the world coming to an end, it can't be worse than this as far as I'm concerned. Clone meat. Clone meat. Has anybody heard about the cycle of life? Because we're all connected. I believe people did, even those that were not science students from the very beginning, you would have this drawing or painting or almanac in your classrooms that will show you that this is the cycle of life. The cycle of life. That everybody is connected. Everybody eats one another, and it's a revolving thing. Man's capabilities is being used elsewhere into replicating or copying an already created organism or animal, as the case may be. Some sort of sit in the lab, smoke too much lala, and then all of a sudden, boom, I got beef, and everybody's laughing. Financed by power brokers of the world. And then they're gonna be telling you, I don't eat meat, I only eat clone meat or clone beef. I want clone sirloin. I want clone sirloin. One thing is for sure, when it comes to what's on Canada's menu, the future is closer than it appears. A future is definitely closer than it appears. Ha ha ha. Clone. In my fictitious imagination, I never even thought that being possible. Clone meat in Canada. The future, or is that a food fight? And I still don't get it why everything that we do, every way that we move, to any direction that we're pointing to, it seems that the traditional status quo seems to want to be eliminated by the powers that be. Imagine eradicating or removing livestock farming. And it's not going to only be livestock. Soon you're going to be eating genetically modified. Oh, if that's not even available right now. Or clone plants on your salad. lettuce and all that. So we want to render the soil non-functional, and we talk about droughts. We're complex. We're complex in our understanding of the world. We're so complex in all our engagements in a kind of way, man. But anyways, my name is Akinloye. To be a part of this show, kind of join our social media handles, and that's on Facebook, we are Cradle Radio, on Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, on Discord, we are Cradle Radio, on X, we are Cradle Radio, on LinkedIn, we're Cradle Radio. We're practically everywhere as Cradle Radio. So join us in there, and also you can subscribe to a YouTube channel. I'm gonna cut this into shorts in there, in the due course of time, and we'll be finding you there, having to learn a thing or two, or even having to have a tete-a-tete as regards that. You could have your say being heard by sending all your inquiries to info@cradleradio.com, info@cradleradio.com. And this morning I did announce 4 episodes that you might have missed. You can go via that link on that leads you to Spotify. Yes, we are on Spotify as well right now. So if you want to relay any of This is Canada episodes, you could do that on Spotify. And it's This is Canada. And the link is going to be placed in most of our social media handles. And that way you could be a part of it and listen and enjoy what we've been bringing you so far from the stables of Cradle Studios by way of Cradle Radio, which we live stream anyways. So this comes your way from Mondays through Thursday, each and every Monday through Thursday, from the hours of 9 to 11 a.m. And 9 to 10 o'clock is a build-up, just to build your momentum, getting you ready. But a talk aspect of This is Canada, comes around from 10 to 11 Mondays through Thursday. So be a part of it. Join us, and let's hear what your opinion is as regards the discuss for the day. And you won't regret it. And that's for me, it's just a regular thing. And as it comes our way as a group of people, I owe it to the world to bring it to you, to your hearing, or to your listening. You might probably ask yourself, I ain't gonna listen to it. But when it does affect you, you'll remember somebody called Akinloye that warn you about it, they talk about it, and it desensitize you about it. All right? Look at the people who got farms. They look fresher than the people in the city who are going to them supermarkets to pick up their chicken, to pick up their beef. They look healthier. You look at it and you ask yourself, oh my God, how come these people look totally different from me? Because the reality is they're eating well. They have a direct source of good protein. Sometimes my tongue just twists. They have good source of it. Fresh. I hear there's modified milk as well. Milk. I understand if you have soybean milk. I understand that. But people haven't. I think Larry told me that there was clone milk. If that's applicable, clone milk. Let me, with a little time I have left, let me find that out. Is that in circulation? I'm just curious. I want to know.
Wake up in the morning every weekday and join Akinloye on Cradle Radio. I'm
just curious. I'm a curious man. I'm curious, wanting to know. You know the way it is. That's what I heard. I just like to fact check myself sometime. Oh yeah, there is clone milk. It says in the U.S., Wild West, I ain't gonna talk about them. I'm concerned about my Canada, my lovely Canada. Well, it says in Canada, Health Canada is reviewing its policy on foods from animals produced by somatic cells, nuclear transfers, cloning, and their progeny. According to a Canadian, this is just a Canadian commentary site. I'm not gonna read that one because it's just a commentary for now until I see it. Possibly, what I'm gonna do is I'll probably go. How do you even identify your choice of beef? If it's clone or natural beef? Because there's a strong possibility that you might probably not even be able to identify. There's a huge possibility of that. Is it labeled? When you go shopping, do you see cloned, non-cloned? Cloned or organic? That's the word. Everything is about labeling these days. Organic. Cloned or organic? That's what we've turned ourselves into. I went to a part of the world in the month of July. And I tell you this for sure and for certain. The beef I had with my meal in that part of the world tasted exactly like what I used to have as a kid in another part of the world. Juicy, natural, tasty. And when I get here, except if I go to a farm, except if I go to Dominic, right? That's when I can only have that feel. That's the only time I can have that feel. May God just help us out in all that we do. My name is Lloyd. It's been a pleasure doing this. We'll do same tomorrow. Tomorrow being Thursday, probably the last day of the week. On This is Canada. This is Canada is a flagship from CradleRadio that showcases and highlights, different social, political, economical, and even cultural happenings around Canada as it affects Canadians and friends of Canada and friends of Canada. So don't be bothered if you're not Canadian, but in as much as your friends of Canada from any part of the world, you could be a part of it, because what we're discussing might just be the same that is applicable in your part of the world, and it is welcome. And you see people from the UK, you see people from the Wild West as well, having to contribute each and every time while the show is on live stream. We're live streaming on Facebook, we're live streaming on YouTube, and then we have relays of the show on the likes of what's it called? Spotify. And then if you are on CradleRadio, there are repeat broadcasts of the same shows as well on CradleRadio. So go to the website www.cradleradio.com and you wouldn't regret that you've done that. I want to thank everybody that's been a part of the show. I love to always identify people who are making me look great and making me look good. Thanks to Preachy Pinchers, 141 Ontario Street North, right in Kitchener downtown. So that's the best hair salon I've been in my life. I want to fix my locks. I want to, put it in barrel twist and all that. That's where I go to. And I know they do different sort of hairdos around there. Micro links and all that. Yeah, I just heard about that yesterday, micro links. So if you want to get your micro links fixed or done, go to Preachy Pinchers. It's at www.preachypinchers.ca. That's a real brick and mortar salon. I don't know about you. I don't know why you go to somebody's basement to do your hair. I really don't know. I just can't comprehend that. I'm not even going to just go into that. But go visit Preachy Pinchers and they're going to make you look good. Tell them that that Akinloy sent you. They're gonna give you a discount when you mention my name, all right? This is a wrap. Tomorrow is another day. And if you're in my part of the world, I would implore you to drive safe. It's slippery out there with the snow and all. Dress warm, keep yourself warm. Try to grab yourself a hot tea or coffee, whichever is your preference. And most importantly, try to watch out for other people as well who might be vulnerable, people that might just need help. It's just my culture to give help to people who need help. I know there's so many fraudsters out there that might not probably be needing help, asking for help, but there are a lot of people who need help out there. Extend a good hand, extend a good gesture to somebody today, and hopefully we might make our world a better place. Here is Akinloy signing out. Have yourself a blessed day.
Wake up in the morning every weekday and join Akinloye on Cradle Radio.
Yeah.